When I was asked for my thoughts about abortion, I had a very clear picture in my head. It was an amalgamation of the societal view, of scenes I'd watched and stories I'd read. I envisioned this couple who'd made a drunken, stupid mistake and were now stuck with this choice they had to make. They'd thrown caution to the wind for a night of fun and were facing the consequences of what they'd done. In an attempt to save face, they chose to hide for their sake of their wallets, their futures, their pride. They were facing not just one death, but three. They were facing the death of who they thought they'd be. And with nowhere to turn to, no solution in sight, they made the decision they thought was right. I saw their suffering, their pain, and their loss. But I saw it first, not as a loss, but a cost. Before I saw their humanity, I saw their sin. I was focused on the crime, not on the victims. Because at the heart of it, abortion is not about pro-choice or pro-life. It's not about politics. It's not about women's rights. It's not about sinning or the consequences of actions. These views are all just another form of abstraction. The abortion issue is about someone who now more than ever needs to be reminded that they are loved. There are so many things that accompany abortion. There's the reaction of sorrow, pain, and depression. There's a battle of regret, of self-condemnation. There's the consequences of dealing with forced repression, a lifetime of unexpected repercussions. There's a woman who now sees her womb as a tomb and has to deal with a relationship that's likely doomed, and a man who has been completely consumed by emotions that he's forced to keep entombed. Because they were told this would be painless, that their lives could soon resume, that their burdens would be lifted when they exited the room. In the case of abortion, there's always more than one consequence. When a pregnancy's terminated, 3 lives lose their innocence. I don't know the heartache that comes with abortion. I could never get the words just right. To try and express the complexities would just be pandering and trite, but I do know the pain of being brokenhearted, of doing something I knew I'd regret. I know the stab of self-condemnation, of not allowing myself to forget I've had secrets that I've kept locked away, reminding me daily that I'm broken and flawed. I've deeply disappointed those around me, and I've fallen short of the glory of God. I can't speak to the lasting effects of abortion. These are not steps that I can retrace. But I can speak to the pains of being a sinner, and I know the power of grace. I know there's a God who's given us a mission to love one another without inhibition. And I have been called to lay down my ammunition, leaving judgment to him in an action of submission, because it is by his very own definition that God is love. And despite the opposition, his grace is for those who are filled with contrition, and his love is to be given out without condition. I don't want to detract from the life that is lost, to take away from abortion's terminal cost. But in a world where abortion is a political ideology, it's easy to get caught up in commandment theology and forget that he is broken and she is broken and I am broken and we are broken. Signs can change minds and pamphlets play their part, but it's a conversation of love that will change a fractured heart. May we never forget that abortion has a price, and that each soul that suffers needs the love of Christ.